All right, so let's start with Wild Blue Yonder, the second episode of these 60th anniversary specials. We had the first one last week with the Star-Beast. Now we have this one today. They already released a small trailer, a small clip of the last one for next weekend. Ah, man, it's gonna be sad to see David Tennant again can leave and regenerate. But very excited for the new season when it drops, or the new series, or whatever we're gonna call it. But so this episode today, Wild Blue Yonder, as we know, last week ended with the Doctor and Donna going into the new TARDIS, and Donna saying, "Oh, this is how I got fired from my job because I dropped this cup of coffee on my boss's computer." And she goes and drops the whole cup on the TARDIS console. The TARDIS goes crazy, starts spewing fire everywhere, and just takes them off. So this starts, it's very Doctor Who. Let's go to 1666 to a big important event with a famous person, like Donna says a couple of minutes later that, do you said that to famous people? And it's with Isaac Newton, who's not Sir Isaac Newton at the moment, sitting under a tree, and then an apple falls on his head, and he starts getting a little, what might this be? And of course, it's the TARDIS that landed on the apple tree, causing the fall of the apple, and gravity, mamity, mamity, whatever they were saying. So very cool episode, start to the episode, and then they just kind of fly off to, he thinks they're going back home because Donna wants to be there. She just left her daughter, her mother, and everyone, and her husband over there. But they end up in this space station. It just crashes in this space station. And I gotta say, I love just TV shows and movies that happen in space station. They're so trippy, so different, because it's all have to do with mental things. People being in space station for too long start to go crazy. We've had multiple episodes of Doctor Who that happen on space stations or derelict ships, and those are some of my favorites because you're in a closed environment, minimal cast. Here, the whole episode, the actual without the Isaac Newton thing, everything is just the Doctor and Donna. So Catherine Tate and I just forgot the doctor's name. You'll put it and just scream at me for a little bit. David Tennant. It's just them. So we've talked here and about other movies and TV shows and episodes about just minimal cast, how it just focuses on one or two characters, and that's just great. And this is just the two of them just taking the lead and carrying this whole episode, 45 minutes or whatever it was, like 50 minutes actually. But I love, like I was saying, I love every episode that happens on a space station because it's usually something very personal that you have to deal with. And this episode was the same. So they get there, the TARDIS says, you know what, I'm tired of you guys crashing me everywhere and dumping coffee on me. He just yeeted it out of, and Otis here, we'll let him.
Here, life gets in the way sometimes.
And it's just like Oti right now was the TARDIS, just crashing into that space station out of nowhere. Oti, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. I've had a very crazy day. I'm currently without a phone. I texted you from my iPad, and
Yeah.
it's been a while, but whatever. I'm okay.
All right, so Wild Blue Yonder, Oti, I just kind of talk a little bit about Sir Isaac Newton, or he wasn't Sir Isaac Newton at that point, just Isaac Newton, and then when they were crashing into the space station. But before that, I was saying how much I love TV shows and movies that happen in space stations. It's this close quarter environment. Usually it's minimal cast. This whole episode was just the two of them that carried everything. And it usually has to do with people losing their minds and having to do with something very personal that they have to solve. And I know you just started watching Doctor Who finally. I'm so excited to talk about that first season. But there's a lot of episodes that happen on space stations or derelict ships, and they're all great. Some of my favorites. So this one ranks right there. So just initial impression for Wild Blue Yonder.
I liked it a lot. I think it's interesting because I'm since I've seen like a whole season now of the show, I'm starting to get the feel of how it's gonna work. Last with the first special, I was like, "Where is this going? Like, how does this move?" But yeah, no, I like Wild Blue Wild Blue Yonder.
Yes. Okay. Which I guess it's a song. I didn't know it was a song.
I liked it a lot because it felt like a bottle episode because it's really just Donna and the Doctor in a
Yeah.
station. That's really all that's going on. And there's another creature, but it's also Donna and the Doctor.
Yeah.
And through that, we get some very interesting conversations between them.
Mhm.
So I think it was a very like clever episode to pull off.
Mhm.
I really really liked it, and it, it did something that it's one of the things that has hooked me with the show. I love
Mhm.
how with all the craziness and silliness, the show still stops for a minute to
Yeah.
think about what's happened, and
Mhm.
I love that this episode is basically all about how are you doing with everything that's happened, which
Yeah.
I don't know about because I'm starting to catch up. But it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I can see it. This guy has been doing this for forever, basically.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's that part, and you won't know because what they reference the flux and the
That's
time they shot.
that has to do with Jodie, right?
Yeah, and like the last season of
Okay.
her. So this is
Yeah.
you're like 12 seasons still to
Yeah.
catch up, and they didn't hanker on that a lot, but it was a comment, which is great because a lot of people had been complaining. Oh, now that Russell T Davis is coming back, they're erasing Whitaker and the 13th Doctor, and this is no. And this is the second episode that the Doctor kind of at the beginning at some point, wait, am I doing this now? First, kind of saying this and kind of putting people and the fans in the mood that okay, the next Doctor, which is played by
Incute,
a gay
incute.
actor, we might go there. As when Donna said, "Oh, I didn't know Sir Jackson Newton was hot." Yeah, it's very hot. Wait, what's this? And like, yeah, and she's like, "What?
Oh.
You haven't caught that? I always thought there was something." And then the TARDIS started leaving, which is something that has happened before, but not to this extent.
By the way, did you notice the Mavity thing?
Yeah,
I,
I
I
don't
I thought that
know.
I thought that was gonna be like the big reveal that they. It's because
Yeah.
with Eccleston, I noticed the whole they tease things like little by
Mhm.
little. But I wonder if that's just is that just gonna be like a running gag or something?
So I'm in the same boat. I thought it was gonna have because he said gravity, and this is like what? Oh, gravity. So I thought they were gonna play into that a little bit more. And it might be something just got planted today, and it will get resolved in the future. Because, like you said, you've seen it with Echoes, and it just happens to the whole Doctor Who. So I wouldn't be surprised if that plays out because I thought if it was just a gag, it would have been a little bit more noticeable. Because it just came out of nowhere. So, but we'll see.
He Newton says it, but um,
They're left already.
the
So
Doctor says it like once.
first, yeah. Mm.
He no. Like near the
No,
end of
once
the
they've
episode,
left,
near the end of the episode, he says Mavity like randomly, like, and it's
mm,
just like natural. So
yeah.
I
So I
wonder if
don't
that's
know
coming
if
back.
it will be something that because when they get back to Earth at the end of the episode, things have gone to hell. So who knows if maybe they made a change or in the past and now it's catching up with them. I love this episode. I don't want to start saying if I love this one more than the other one, but maybe it's rose-colored glasses because I just watched it.
It
I
was like
really
a
enjoyed it.
very, it was very different
Oh
to the
yeah.
previous one. Again, this felt like I like it. I liked it because it was more personal. I
Mhm.
think it leans into a different aspect of the show.
Yeah.
I can't believe I'm talking about this.
Yeah, we'll get through this so we can then
I,
jump into why are
I'm
we
like
doing even a show today? Because we were
I'm like beside myself that I'm talking about Doctor Who.
dude, I'm so happy finally. I can't believe what Tony's feeling right now. When-
No, and I have this is funny. I have another friend, and I taught her all about expanded universe Star Wars because she
oh,
was just a movies person. And I remember I was like, I don't know if you're gonna be into this, but there's an animated show. I think you could be receptive to it. And she watched it and she loved it, and then she jumped to Rebel. So she's my go-to person to just like
yeah,
day to day talk about Star Wars. So now she's happy that I'm finally getting into Doctor Who
yeah.
because she's a huge Whovian.
Yes, a Whovian. Talking about expanded universe and legends, I mentioned before I got uh, advanced audio files because they're not
Oh,
copies
you
of
told me. You
Outbound
told me.
Flight and Survivor's Quest. So I'm like 4 episodes into Outbound Flight, back with Son and with Thrawn. But this is a very different Thrawn than the one from the canon books, at least right
How-
now. So
Are you liking it?
yes.
I told you.
Mhm.
I stopped reading Heir to the Empire. I hope to finish it after I finish Eye of Darkness. But it felt like a very different Timothy Zahn, and I actually I
Yeah.
was quite liking what I was reading.
Yeah, so far so good. Plus, I like that there's an angle with the Jedi and the Republic, and this is between 5 years after the Phantom Menace, so the Clone Wars haven't started, but there's a lot going on. So I'm very interested to keep going. But
Hmm.
Wild Blue Yonder, I love also when there's some creature or something. It's not there because they don't know something's happening. They countdown, which the doctor. Yes, I told you the first thing I said was countdown. I knew it, but because it's not a review, it's that like every great horror thing does, right? It preys on your fears. You don't know what's following you. Yeah, there's a sound and the ship is moving. There's a very slow robot that's not doing anything. But then playing with the reveal of the other two, those
Hmm.
copies, which you'll get to eventually. There's an episode called Nightmare, no, Midnight, which is also one of my favorites. Kind of similar ideas in terms of copies, but I love that. I love how weird they are at the beginning when they start. My arms are too long, oh, and then running just like
Like
dogs or whatever.
creatures.
Yeah, so creepy, but it makes it so interesting. And then I love all the scenes trying to figure out who's the real Doctor, and the real Donna. All those are great, and I love the tie gag. Oh, where's your tie? Oh yeah, I
Uh,
dropped it on the floor. Oh, but it's right. Things keep existing even when you drop it. So great.
I, I something I've noticed from the show, it like whenever there's a mystery to the characters, the show puts the audience in the same
Mhm.
mystery and keeps you
Yeah,
guessing. I actually appreciated that, and yeah, the mystery was very well played out, and every time there was a reveal, it was very clever. Like
yeah.
the whole tie thing, like that was genius.
And it's also because the doctor is usually the smartest person in the room or the cleverest person, but then the more he thinks to try to fix a problem, then the other doctors start figuring out. And the more you think, then I can think also. And when they start just bouncing back and forth between the division to the cockpit, again, just great
I
writing.
I love that when he figures out that they can't think, he's like, "Don't think, Donna, don't think," and it's like, dude, you're the one that needs to stop thinking because you're that's like your whole thing.
Yeah, and they start asking them questions to get them to think. When they see the pilot, just but why
Don't
did
do
he
it,
open
Donna.
the airlock? I love it. I love the horse face that was just floating around the skeleton horse, and like I want to see that guy. Just bring him back or girl because it was a her. I want to see the
The
a
horse
horse piloting
captain.
a spaceship. Yeah, space horse captain. Ah, and then at the end, I love that we got to see Wilfred finally. Great because I
The
also love,
meme.
yeah, the meme. Um, Everything for Donna is wanting to get back, right? She didn't want to leave because every time I leave, something happens, and of course, something happened. But it's just getting back to her family, and she's like, "Well, Rose will probably visit, and then she'll go do other things, and she'll visit once a year, and then eventually she'll kind of trail off. And what about Wilfred? Oh, he'll be there waiting on his wheelchair with his cup of coffee, or thermos, which he also had in the other season, and that's what we find. And she's like, I told you." Very emotional, especially when you see those episodes, when you see him come back or originally, then you'll get those emotions on the other end. But a great reveal, and then of course everything is going to hell. So, and also I know Donna wasn't gonna die. It's like you're not gonna bring him back to kill her. But it was very interesting that they waited till the end to say, "Oh
Really?
yeah, we tricked you," and the other Donna is actually the one on the TARDIS. So I'm like, yeah, it's exploding. It's an extremely long hallway. I don't know, something might happen. So she wasn't going to die, but it did kind of trick me a little bit. Did you think anything might happen to her, or
I didn't really like that fake out because she's not gonna
yeah,
die. For a little second, I was like, is that really Donna? Like I wasn't sure, but I don't know. I would have liked the doctor to like like grab her and
yeah,
be like, too long, just let her go.
yeah,
Calm Donna.
yeah? Maybe that right when she gives her hand, that might have been better. Yeah,
Yeah.
but all in all, I loved it. And we'll talk about we talk about season one. A lot of special effects. They're getting a lot better.
Oh,
Uh,
oh, Alberto. Like I was watching like the Christmas special of the first season like
yeah.
this morning, like night and day.
I mean, it's been like 15 years, so of
Like
course, and the
I I was watching Bat Wolf yesterday, which is also on a space station. Like
Mm.
again, night and day.
But I'll wait. I'll say my comments when we talk about that series one. Um, so there's already a clip for next week's episode. We see that toy maker. We see
Neil
Neil
Patrick Harris.
Patrick Harris
Okay,
there. He's like, "Oh, Doctor, we meet again." I don't know where this is going. I know a lot of people are waiting for cameos. That's a big staple of all these big anniversaries. There was one, I think, the 50th year when Matt Smith was the Doctor during the anniversary.
that's
Then
the one.
David Tennant showed up. Sorry.
That's the one with the War Doctor and
Yeah, but
everyone comes
also
back.
Tennant showed up there, and so you
Mhm.
have like three doctors working at the same time, and it's great because it's the three there at those different stages. So everyone's waiting to see what's going to happen. The way it's set up, I don't know if it fits having another doctor, but I haven't seen any leaks.